of Ngani, Wanyama, Kenya Open 2012. And at this stage where black has a problem with development, and if the given time is going to awaken and cause white to lose the game, I found two inspirational moves, sequential inspirational moves, and with the trap in it. Fortunately, my opponent fell for one of the traps. And the move I played knight b3, and whereas the Udin is now giving an evaluation that is better for white to pick the pawn on a2, we actually saw that this doesn't work. And quickly, if that is picked, then the best lines at around move 23 would go something like this, and that move. And now you will see Udini quickly changing its mind and giving a draw evaluation. There it is, starting with the rook to a4 draw. And the reason for queen takes a2 being a bad move is just that on a2 the queen can't check on a1, so that king is quite safe next to that queen, and the only escape square for the king is in fact a4. So there are motifs that cost black his queen, and the best thing is that black actually spends 3 moves on this and gives breathing space to the d4 pawn. So Wanyama didn't play that. In fact, he played queen to b5. Now again, knight to b3 wasn't fully calculated. This intuition, it had to be a good move, and it was. The next move now rotates around the d5 pawn. If the d5 pawn falls, black will be able to free himself, and undoubtedly white will win the game. Undoubtedly, sorry, black will win the game. That's undoubted. There is no direct way to defend it, but then there is an indirect way to defend it, and this comes out of the move. Next move I played, which is c4. Now, this was an inspired move. I was very proud of it. First, on the same file, and the rook can come in and pin one of the two or skewer. Now, apart from that, even if the king and queen are on the same file, then opening a file on which the king is can't be bad for white, and you can see a lot of loose squares and inactive pieces around the king, so that would generally be a good thing. Now, however, on the flip side, if black doesn't pick this pawn, then the only square the queen can move to is a4. Now from a4, there are again tactical lines that can lose the queen. That's one, and the queen is pretty much out of play for quite a number of moves, unless the knight on d7 moves, and even then not much in terms of freedom for the queen, because all those squares are still covered. So black is pretty much compelled to pick the c4 pawn. However, it comes with something else. It seems that after queen picks, it picks with check, and black must take time moving. White must take time moving his king away, and then in the of that check, white can actually pick the d5 pawn, attacking the queen, so that rook moving to c1 doesn't lose black the queen, because the f3 queen would also be hanging. However, this is the trap that actually made me play c4. It was what I was hoping for, because when you look at it concretely, by concrete analysis, in fact, picking on d5 with the bishop is a blunder, and it's a terrible blunder, really. Fortunately for me, black fell into this, and I'll show you what happened. So one of the things is, in this I'm setting a trap that bishop would pick after queen picks. Okay, so queen picks, king moves away. Now the threat is rook to c1. Now comes a blunder there, and I still play rook to c1 anyway. Check. Bishop goes back. I think that wasn't good. Bishop should have stayed on f3, so that I have to pick with my f pawn, causing a fracture of the pieces. And now, after this move, I think black must have counted on knight to c5, which gives black semblance of surviving with his pieces, but actually it doesn't. It doesn't survive, because after this bishop picks, and now bishop goes to attack my rook, and we have that move there. Bishop takes g7, after which we end up with the 2 bishops for a rook and an extra pawn, clearly 1-0 position. That's not what happened. Instead, we played bishop to e7, which I think is worse than knight to c5, takes, and then not allowing the bishop to take on g7. I think that was the best line. So bishop to here. Here, playing bishop to e7 allows the king to go back to d8, and now you can see the king side is still frozen, giving white an advantage, though white is still a pawn down. This is very comfortable for white, and white should be winning here. Bishop to d3, attacking that pawn, because now, after that move, this can actually be picked. But it's not that easy. There are tactical lines here. Of course, if after this pick here, which is what actually happened, black can play rook takes. If black plays rook takes, then rook to c8 is made. But then black has a Zwischenzug here, and that is the move he played next. Now, if I run away with my knight, then my bishop falls. If I run away with my bishop, my knight falls. But in fact, I have this move, which still prevents it. Now, fortunately, I saw this before I picked the a4 pawn. In fact, I think before I played bishop to d3, though I had just less than 10 minutes at this stage. But the second reason why I chose this line, because I was inspiring this move, knight g6, to pick my bishop, and when that happens, all of black's pawns are going to be either isolated or double isolated, and I think that going to the end game, that would be an easy win for me. In fact, maybe I should have considered keeping my bishop on one of the diagonals, and the check here is in fact the best move in this position, but not to pick the knight on c5, but to pick the pawn on d5. I should have picked the d6 pawn. I didn't do that. I played this, which was my original plan, and there we go. So my aim has been achieved. Now, this move pins my knight down to the defense of the bishop. It can move away with tempo to d4, which is what I should have done, but unfortunately I did not do that. So I played a blunder, really. I thought that by this the rooks would have to be exchanged, and then bishop plays to d8. Out of time trouble. Silly blunder, really, because after that simple move there, I end up with nothing. And in fact, after that move, turns out black's king has moved up 2 steps for absolutely nothing. So I felt really bad about it, but what I already played it. And then now I played bishop to d4, and my nifty opponent plays b3. What's the logic? Does he lose a rook? Of course not. He's being trappy. And should I play that move? Then there's that check, and that's mate. So really, I didn't fall into that. Fortunately, I think that's 3 minutes or something. I don't know. Maybe 7 minutes. I'm not sure. So I just picked the pawn, and after that move, I played bishop to c2, rook to c2. I'm not very happy with this move. It's prophylaxis, but again, I don't have too much time. I don't want tactics starting with knight to d2 check, and also I'm expecting the rook to come to d8, attacking my g2 pawn. So this move serves those 2 purposes, but not the very best of moves. And now my pawn begins to advance. Now I want to advance the pawn further, but there are lines where that pawn can be attacked several times, and I'm not sure that I'll be able to advance it all the way. So I want to be able to protect the pawn with my queen, with my king, and the only way to do that is to get rid of the active rook on a file. So that's the reason for the exchange. Probably not the best, but simplification, I thought, uses the chance of getting into tactical blunder. King comes out, my rook moves away, and now I think here we have not recording wasn't very accurate, because black didn't have the chance to pick the pawn on g2, followed by the second pawn, really. So I'm not sure that's what we played. It's possible, maybe there's a line in which I could advance my pawn all the way to queen, but I'm not sure, really. So I can't I'm not sure how the recording was, so a few moves are not accurate, but we will transpose towards the end. Okay, now here I planned to play upon this move g3, but then I realized that black can actually pick that pawn in g3 at some point and then push on to a2 and perhaps even queen. So of that threat, I played this. But now, along the rank, I'm normally blind about rank issues sometimes. My king is laying on the same rank as me, as these 3 pieces. So in fact, the rook can come in and cause trouble. And that's actually what happened. And now, we had these lines. And again, it's not very accurately played because black didn't have the option of picking my pawn here with check. Didn't have the option of picking this pawn here with check. So it's not accurate again, but it transposes in a few moves. So please ignore that. Then, please note here, I had about 1 minute to play. So that's why the recording is not very clear. I think I had 1.5 minutes, and there's no increment. And black has a slight advantage in this stage, only because of that pick, but that pick does not exist in real life. So black center pawns look very imposing, but in fact white has the advantage here. Now that these few moves becomes clear that black was winning, white was winning, sorry. And now for here I think I had about 20 seconds or something, I'm not sure. And at this stage, something like this, I think white's flag fell, and black duly informed his opponent that he didn't have time. Yeah, in chess you must be able to win within the given time. So congratulations to the winner, Wanyama. He won in this position in time, but this mate on the board, something like this. Mate. So that's chess for you. It happens that yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.